Hello, this is John Black with my brother-in-law. What's your name?
Kyle.
Dr. Kyle Ramsey. Kyle is the one that I always, anytime I make a statement that has anything to do with science, I always say, and I think somebody's not believing me, I say, well, my brother-in-law's a microbiologist and immunologist. And then I don't say, and he says, I just go on talking, and they assume that you would agree with anything that you would, or they would assume you would disagree with me.
False assumptions.
Anyway, we're at the beach. We're at Oak Island. Can't get the tag. So this is what the beach looks like from where we are. And there was a chance of sun today, and it looks like there's some sun peeking out. So Kyle might not stay with me long out here. So let's see if I can get us back on here. There's a lot of glare out here. Okay, I think I can see you. So Kyle, we are going to talk about... Go ahead. So we're going to talk about... Today, since it's Theology Thursday, we had to find a way to make the beach about theology. And since you're here, we're going to talk about missiology. What's missiology?
Missions.
Study of missions.
Study of missions.
All right, and you are involved with Karis.
Karis.
Is it called Karis for Haiti or just the website?
It's Charis, Inc. Karis Incorporated.
Okay.
The website is www.charisforhaiti with the number 4.com. Not
the plug. We got it on there.
Oh, you got it.
They can click on it. I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, did you have your glasses on at the beginning? I want people to see what you look like. There
I have them on because there is a little glare.
There's a lot of glare.
A lot of glare, and so it helps me see a little better. So.
All right, so tell me about Karis. What is Karis?
Karis is a evangelical Christian missionary organization that was founded by Dr. Malcolm Henderson. I call him doctor not because he's a professor, because he's actually a physician. He's Malcolm Henderson, MD. He's a surgeon, trained to do surgery and a little bit of trauma surgery as well. And just as he was leaving his residency and getting ready to start his first job, he had a call to go to Haiti, and he packed up his wife. He tore up his contract for his first job, which was quite a nice contract, and tore it up and said, I can't do this. If I don't do what God's calling me to do now, I'll never do it. And they packed up his wife and his 4 children. And
he keeps saying he packed up his wife.
Packed up his wife. That doesn't sound good.
A bad image.
Packed up his family and not.
She's a little thing. Sorry.
So they essentially had the call. Both of them did. They both prayed about it separately, and they came together and prayed about it together. And they said they affirmed the call, I think, and the call affirmed to them. And then they said, yeah, if we don't do this now, we'll probably never do it. We'll get involved in the material things of the world because they'll get very busy as a surgeon, working 60, 70 hours a week and making a lot of money and all that kind of stuff. And then they'll get into a lifestyle that perpetuates itself. And so at that point, they decided now's the time. I think this was around 2012, so it's been about 5 years ago the organization was founded.
And you take people from your university.
Mm-hmm. I've done I've done 8 trips to Haiti over the last 3 years, and 2 of those trips have been involved specifically with students from Midwestern University, where I go and where I'm employed. And
you're a dean.
I'm a dean.
You're in charge of the place.
I'm a dean of the basic science division. I'm in charge of the place. That would be my boss.
All right.
I hope she's not watching because they get a lot of trouble. But I do have charge over the basic science division of Midwestern University. Yes, that's true.
And so it's basically a medical mission you do when you go.
I've been on 8 missions, and I would say almost all of them. Well, 6 of them have a strong medical presence involved with them. Then 2 of them have been just mostly evangelical and social kind of gospel things that we go and do there.
But you were telling me you feel like your primary call is to share the gospel. But when you get there, there's so much need that you're able to do that you're able to, as you're actually helping physical needs, you're also sharing the gospel. And Malcolm lives there. And you were telling, one of the interesting things to me is Voodoo.
Right.
Voodoo culture, would you even call it?
Yeah, there's a very heavy Voodoo culture there. It's not the stuff you see on movies and television, with zombies and stuff like that. Though they do actually believe in
zombies. It's worse than that, though. So, and there are Voodoo priests in these.
Right. So they're called Ugans.
Right.
Houngans. If you want to Google it, Ugans. And the female priestesses are called Mambos, Mambos. mambos. So Ugans and mambos are the kind of clergy, if you will, of the Voodoo religion.
And one of the hindrances to them coming to the gospel, if I understand you correctly, is that many of them have actually, you explain it, it's like in some way they have sold themselves to a demon, or explain that.
Okay, and I apologize for anybody who knows more about this than I do, but...
Nobody knows more.
No, other people know a lot more. But the way I understand it is what they do. Well, the way I understand they believe is that they have a voodoo ceremony. There's certain rituals and things they perform, and as a result of this, a demon will come down, or they call them spirits, but when you ask them, they'll say yes, the demons. And these demons will possess someone at the ceremony, and they grant wishes through that person to different people involved. They pay money to the Ugan who's performed the ceremony, and they get their wishes granted. They may be something good, like I want to be healed of this disease, or I want my grandmother to be healed, or it may be something negative, which would be, I want my neighbor to have a terrible accident because they're really making me mad about something. Sometimes they ask them to get sick, or they ask somebody to get a curse on them or something like that. And the power of the curse that's put on them relates to how great of a sacrifice. There's actual physical, animal, and other types of sacrifices that are done at these. And the greater the sacrifice, the more powerful the spell or the wish you can be granted. And as a result of that, then they incur a debt to the demon, the Ugan or the Mambo or the person that's getting the wish. They incur a debt to the demon or the spirit that's been called down. And many of them won't come to Christ. They hear the gospel message, they agree with it, and they know it's right, and they know they should do it, but they feel as though they owe a debt to the demon that they serve. And many of them serve like one specific demon. So they're allied with or in bondage to or service to a specific demon. And that's the way they live.
But you're a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
Now Malcolm is a medical doctor.
Right.
And we know better than to believe in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's until you go and experience and see it. I didn't either, and I don't know that Malcolm really did. And
I mean, it's biblical, so
it is biblical. Yeah.
It's like, but
yeah,
but Malcolm particularly has experienced somebody that he believes.
Yeah, no, and he's been to some of the ceremonies just as an observer to see what it's all about. He's been invited to them.
This is in Haiti, in case anybody.
Yeah, in Haiti, not there, and not here in the U.S. Well, although there are voodooists here in the U.S. and they do these ceremonies there, but it changes your mind when you see some of the things that have happened. It also changes not just that. I don't want to lend too much power, glorify the voodoo and the Satanism. That it's really Satanism because it's demons and Satan's the ultimate power and voodoo and all that kind of stuff. But it also, the mission work that Malcolm and Joy, his wife Joy, have done, it also gives you a great appreciation for the transformative power of the gospel of Christ, because people's lives are changed when they understand that they can be forgiven, and even the debt they owe to the demon has already been paid through the crucifixion.
And has he had a voodoo priest turn to the Lord? Has he had voodoo priests?
Yes. In fact, many of the big leaders they have now are former voodoo priests who have heard the gospel message and have been transformed as a result of it. And it's both a physical and psychological, but it's as well as a spiritual transformation that takes place in the lives of the people. And it's a very positive transformation. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that might watch this and say, oh, well, you're taking them out of their native religion, and that's not a good thing. And that's not true. This is voodoo is a very evil thing that enslaves and brings bondage to people. And you're introducing them something that frees them completely from that and puts them under the freedom of the Christian gospel and the freedom that's out there. So,
or are there any people that say, like, I like my voodoo? I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah. So I mean, Malcolm could tell you stories. I haven't run up against these myself directly there, but he's gone to people and they just make fun of him the whole time, and people have said, no, I like my demon. I can't wait to die and go to hell with him. I think it's
he's had
really
people
shocking.
that have tried to send demons on him and send illnesses to him.
Yeah, and I think there's some of that occurs. I mean, it is a biblical. It's not against the sound doctrine and theology to say that Christians can't come under a demonic attack or oppression. And of course then there comes that whole naturalism versus theism kind of thing that comes into play there. But there's nothing to say that demons don't use natural diseases or spirits don't use natural diseases to inflict these kinds of illnesses on people. So.
Well, okay, so in Haiti, and this is Dr. Kyle Ramsey. When I say you're a microbiologist, immunologist, that's not how you introduce yourself all the time, is it?
No, I'm
Hi,
Kyle.
I'm Dr. Kyle Ramsey. All right.
I don't like titles.
But you're the dean of what?
Of basic sciences. So
basic sciences. I
don't know if anybody is interested in this, John, but the basic sciences are the basic parts of the sciences, the biological, biomedical sciences that physicians, pharmacists, dentists, that kind of healthcare professionals need to know before they go on out to practice.
Okay.
Practice medicine.
So
you're asking what do I do there?
No, I can't figure that out. I don't think you do anything. I think it's a big. That's not true. Kyle is a wonderful human being that does hard work. And you work too hard. You don't make enough money, but you always
make too much
you
money
only speak well of your university and the people you work with and the people you work for. I've never heard you say an ill word.
Thank you.
Because you know I do this and I'll talk about it. So, as we're praying for Haiti, right? Like what? How was the main way you would say? What are some ways to pray for Haiti in general?
Yeah.
Other than salvation and things like that.
Right.
But how some ways we might not think.
Well, everybody knows. I think everybody knows a little bit about Haiti in the back of their mind. Before I got involved with it, everybody. I knew Haiti was a very poor country. I didn't know this, but they're the poorest country. Or in some places, sometimes they'll say, you'll hear people say it's the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And it's really literally less than a 2-hour flight right off the coast. You can get in a flight in Fort Lauderdale or Miami and be there in easily under 2 hours. And it's right there off our coast, and it is extremely impoverished. People are extremely desperate. Most people, there's all stratifications in the social structure there and the economic structure, but most people, it's like you'll see places that are 60% unemployment and all that. So, I think, people have asked me before, how do you pray for? What do what's the big problem there? What's the one thing? Yes, education. Yes, medicine. All of those things are part of it. But I really believe, as Malcolm and Joy, the founders of Karis, believe that the people need the gospel of Jesus Christ, and everybody deserves to hear the gospel and try and understand it enough to be able to know that it applies to their life and accept it for their life or not, or reject it. Everybody has an opportunity to accept or reject the gospel, and so that's the main thing that I think you could pray for Haiti and for the Charis ministry is the regeneration of hearts through the transformation that occurs and being introduced to the gospel of Christ, because as Malcolm has said before, you can save a life by doing a surgery, giving medication to somebody, and a week later they may get a disease and be dead, and they're forever without God. But you introduce them to the gospel, and you give them the gospel, and they have an opportunity to have an eternal life with God. And so, he sets that as priority one, and at first I didn't understand that, but now I understand it once you see it there and see it and see the ministry and the work that they do.
What time is it? Because there's so much stuff.
I got 12:23, so we've been on for
13 minutes. You didn't think we could do 5. All right, so one of the things, I'm trying to remember all the stuff you've talked about that's really interesting with it. One of the things it has to do with how far they walk to do.
Well, they live, so their ministry where he felt called to go is on the south side of the island. So you fly into Port-au-Prince, you go over the mountains. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive. It's kind of sketchy. And you get on the other side of the mountains, and then you set up in an area near a place called Marigot, M-E-R-I-G-O-T, Marigot. Another place called Macari, and another place called Peridot, and another place called Kai-Jacmel. Those are all the regions all up around there. But then there's a lot of people live way up in the mountains. The only ways it's accessible is by foot, or by burro, donkeys, or sometimes you can get there by motorcycle, although we've tried that before and that didn't work too well.
Did you ride a donkey? A burro?
I've not ridden a burro, but Malcolm's done it when he had surgery on his knee and he could get up in the mountains and he couldn't walk it, so they've done that before. Most of the time we walk it, you cross the river several times getting up in some of these mountains.
But you were telling me once, it's like you're walking, and there's nothing, and then all of a sudden you go over a ridge or something, and it's just...
Well, that was market day. You're talking about market day. There's market day up in the mountains, and it was interesting because I kept hearing voices, and there's this legend of a river where the dead spirits talk to you and stuff like that. And I'm starting hearing these voices, and I'm kind of like, no, that's really not going to happen. So we got over this rise, and out of
program.
nowhere, there was this whole community that had set up spontaneously in the middle of nowhere that particular day. And it's market day. It's down by a riverbank, and there was probably 300, 400, or 500 people. They come there to trade and sell things and
Right.
stuff like that. Yeah. And then they go back up into their little houses and villages at the end of the day.
So what's the main, like, as far as the medical part of what you guys do? What are the main things?
So we have a couple of
Don't
really
get gross.
We have a couple of really great dentists. So Malcolm does a lot of surgeries. Most of them are exterior. They're abscesses.
See, you did it. If you were eating,
What's that?
nothing. Abscesses.
I'm sorry, wasn't I supposed to say that?
You can say abscesses, but I'm eating, and I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys eat lunch?
Maybe they don't.
I'm
watch
sorry.
this
I don't
news,
think
I'm
about
sure.
that kind of thing. It's sensitive. But he doesn't do anything, of course, in the abdomen because that would require in the chest because that would require general anesthetics, put people under. But if he can do a local injection and do surgery on you, or do a repair of some tissues that have been damaged as a result of an accident, he does those kinds of things.
Well, dental work.
Then we have a couple of really good dentists. I'll give a shout out to Kim Bush, DDS, who lives up around the great northern Chicago area. Ioana Jakob, and then a bunch of my dental students have gone, and they've done amazing work because the teeth, the oral hygiene there is not real good. Teeth are really bad, and people suffer. You can imagine having a toothache and it just doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So they mostly do extractions. I think our last trip we were on, we estimated they did about between the group that was working on teeth. Oh, also now Oksana Fursov is now just graduated from Midwestern, and she's done 2 trips with us, and she's a new dentist, newly minted dentist. And she's been with us a couple times. They've just done extractions after extraction. I think they in 4 days we've estimated they've done somewhere on the order of 1,000 teeth been pulled.
What do they do with the teeth?
Dispose of them. Yeah, dispose of them. I kept teasing them, telling them to put them on the necklace around their neck.
No, I don't think that.
No. We have a good time. We joke with each other a lot. But then we do clinics. We do just regular medicine clinics where people come in and somebody kids got worms, or they got new like little baby. We see little babies and they're malnourished, or a lot of homelessness and a lot of orphans there. Semi-orphans where one parent's there but the other one's missing, and one parent can't take care of the kids.
Oh, the hurricane.
And then there was the hurricane, Hurricane Matthew, that came back in October, came by there and really destroyed a lot of houses. So they do all kinds of things to help people. They bring resources to people to rebuild their houses, to put roofs back on the houses that were blown away, to help rebuild boats for the fishermen in the villages. And of course, people always ask, well, do you make them hear the gospel first? And they never do, but they always invite them to Bible studies and to hear the gospel. And it's never a requirement of them to be able to get aid or assistance. They just help wherever they bring food, prepackaged meals. You've probably all seen things like, I'm blanking on some of the names of the food for the hungry, where they package, dried meals, and they can. So there's lots of things, resources, food, medication, dentistry, surgery, housing. They try to help as much of that kind of clothing, all that kind of stuff. They help as much as possible. Some people need independent living assistance. So somebody rejects voodoo, comes to the gospel, and becomes a Christian. They lose their source of income. So that's one of the biggest challenges for them, is finding ways for them to generate their new income to sustain themselves and their villages, because sometimes there's a whole village or a camp or something that follows this one Ugon, and when he gives up, it's a huge price that they pay, and they suddenly get rejected by everybody sometimes, and they're rejected by people but that were they used to support, because they no longer can support them. So we're trying to find ways to try to help those people and give everything to people sometimes have got transportation so they can run a taxi service, or some people have been staked a little money to set up a roadside stand to sell goods to people that go by. Somebody's gotten a sewing service. Somebody donated a sewing machine recently, and this guy's a great tailor. He makes suits for people and stuff like that. So he's now making.
So if you went to the Karis website, does he put? I mean, there's a what do you call it, a newsletter that they generate.
Newsletter,
and he talks about needs that they have.
Yeah, they talk
ways
about. Yep, there. In fact, the latest newsletter was had a list of different needs that were there and what things that you can get involved in. And the other thing I would tell people is that they're always inviting people to come down at least once to see.
All right, so if my church and everybody wanted to go, we pile in a van and we go. How do you get the
Probably, I think.
I mean, is it something like, okay, what's the youngest person you would say should go?
I have seen kids as young as 11 or 12 there, but I really don't recommend that, because I think you need to be at least 15, 16 years old to be able to deal with what you're seeing and experience from a sensory, psychological perspective, because it's shocking to see people in the depths of poverty that they live in.
And so if a person, just a lay person went that doesn't have medical experience or anything, are there still just things one can do?
So I mean, there's more than just medical that's done. There's the gospel. There's bringing resources to people. There's working with them to show them different things, and there's
just hands-on stuff. So
and I forgot to mention they have a blind person ministry that has 30 or 40 people in it now. So there's blind patients. They brought resources to, and they meet with them once or twice a week. There's a group of widows and widowers that meet in different areas, and so that also is another way to minister people. And then people ask me what they could be doing when they're there if they're involved in the ministry and on the ground in Haiti. I'm always I'm mindful of a story I read about a guy in Somalia, I think it was, or maybe it was Sudan. It was in South Sudan. And somebody had come around the world, and he sat with him and just was his friend and gave him friendship and prayed with him. And it meant the world to know that somebody else from another part of the world where they had resources was at least concerned about him. Yeah. And so sometimes I say social. That's the social side of it, is showing people that you love them and you care for them in the name of Christ.
And then to Karis, as far as donating even money or whatever to, that's you're on the board, right? You on some sort of...
So Malcolm asked me to be on the chairman of the board for a Charis organization about 2 years ago. Okay. I've been serving in that capacity.
So you vouch for them completely. This is of all that. Yeah, I mean, you know more about them than you would any other ministry, actually. And it seems to me one of the advantages to Karis or lots of other ministries in Haiti,
there's lots of ministries there,
and they do good work too.
They do.
And several do this, but I know Malcolm in particular. He's there. He lives there. He's involved. He knows what they need and where they need it and how they need it. So it's not just
he's not a figurehead.
An outsider so much. Yeah, he's committed life to this. He packed his life up.
And I can guarantee you that every dime that they get is used in a judicious manner. They really feel like that the Holy Spirit guides them in what decisions they make. They don't really like to make decisions without consulting through prayer first. But those decisions, who to help, when to help, how much to help, what kind of help to give people, and those are the things that I think that I can vouch for and tell you that. And that's one of the things I loved about it right up front, was that the resources that I could bring to bear, I knew were impactful. They didn't go to a lot of administrative costs. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you're involved in administration in the church or whatever. But there's not a lot of overhead costs or anything. These things go directly to help people who need the help the most, and they know the people that they're giving the help to. They really know them well.
So if anybody wanted, we have the link Charis4 on here, and then go there and find out more. And if anybody wants to, they feel led to go to Haiti, and maybe do you go with Karis or?
Yeah, you'll go with Karis, and usually we can do trips of up to 12 to 20.
You take people? Like we wanted to go, you take care of all that for us?
I would work with Malcolm and Joy. They actually have some people that help out. Jordan Supan, who, if she sees this, you'll know. She's a coordinator in the United States who just kind of works part-time with them to help them get trips coordinated in the United States. But Joy does a lot of the trip coordination as well too. So you could contact me directly or contact John, and then he'll give you my email, and then we could set it up for one of the next trips they are taking people to go down.
The sun's coming out.
Yay.
And we caught a fish. Your son did anyway.
He did.
In his pants. Anyway,
that's a long
ask
story.
Me about that story later. But if you want to know more about Karis or even a trip or something, just make a comment here or send me a text, Facebook message, or go to Karis website. You find Kyle Ramsey? I've tagged him on here, so you can click on him. And
that's right. You can do that. But I'm on the website as the organization director and stuff like that, or the chairman of the board, but I don't know if you can click through and get to my email that way or anything like that. But you can tag, if you see me there and you tag there, so just go and friend me on Facebook or something like that. Facebook message me.
All right, here's what we're looking at. Or you're having to look at us. And the sun is coming out somewhat. Are they catching anything?
I don't know.
I don't know either. All right. Well, you guys, thanks for watching. Pray for Haiti. Pray for us. And we're going back to vacation now.